No, no Yankees. I just got this. I mean, maybe. I gotta look. I got a lot of action figures. It came with cards. I won't focus. I mean, I'm pretty sure this. It says Yankees on it, you know. But it's '82 cards.
you've read anything about the hobby over the last 30 years or so, you might have gotten the impression that 1989 Fleer baseball cards are all about the Billy Ripken of Syndicate fiasco. Well, those cards will probably always land on the top of the card set. There is more to this gray and white pinstripe issue. So, without further ado, here are the 20 most valuable 1989 Fleer baseball kid based on actual selling new sale prices of specimens in graded PSA 10 condition. We'll start at the bottom of the pile and work our way up to the most valuable. 1989 Fleer Green Box, number 81. Fox hit 366 in 1988 to win his fourth straight American League batting title, and it seemed like he might hold on to that crown forever. As it turns out, he would never again lead the league in hitting, which is pretty hard to imagine looking back now. And then like the Opalus, another academic star, as Boston has in his Hall of Fame case. This junk wax gem, the last with popularity over recent years. Value $20 to $25. 1989 Fleer Roger Clemens, number 85. Clemens slumped to 18 and 12 in 1988 and would slide all the way to 17 and 11 in 1989 before rejoining the 20-win club with Chris in the 1990s. Even so, Rocket was among the best pitchers in the American League during, for him, a down stretch. All that paled in comparison to his amazing work over the last decade that left his career was. But this 1989 Peter card, this is a shot at Clemens' recorded epic race. Right? 1989 Fleer, Gary Sheffield, rookie card, number 196. Sheffield was the big stick swinging shortstop, who also happened to be right fielder champion, and was going to make everyone forget about his banks. Sheffield ended up at third base and then the outfield in the major leagues, and the only person who made folks forget about was Dave Magadan. Still, he swatted more than 500 home runs, which would probably garner more Hall of Fame consideration than he has to this point. He's a Sheffield has rookie cards. 1990s and 2000s, and he joined rotation mates Greg Maddux and Paul Glavine at Cooperstown in 2015. With many others on this list, the Fireballers 1989 Clear rookie card checks in at a buffer scope on 3 bit and a bit more in PSA 10. Value $20 to $25. 1989 Clear Randy Johnson rookie card number 381. In 1989, Randy Johnson was still would he ever be able to harness the artist's potential in his left arm? Or was his outsized block rates? The only way to be sure was to trade him to the Seattle Mariners, where his profile seemed a bit more modest in the shadow of Space Needle. All puns aside, the big unit developed into one of the most dominating starters in a generation, and an all-time great who took his rightful place in Cooperstown. Johnson's 1989 clear rookie card is not quite as monstrous, but it does offer a bit of an interesting variation. The background of the card can be found with the marble ad on the scoreboard behind Randy, and with the blacked out versions of said ad. With some half-hearted or in between the tilt. Kind of sort of reminds me of another 1989 clear card. Anyway, there seems to be tons of variations here, depending on the degree of Fleer's contrition for advertising cigarettes to minors at any given moment. In general, you'll find listings ranging from $1 to Ross Office, much more. Depending on the specific variation, more on that later. Value $20 to $30. 1989 Flair Mike Schmidt, number 5. With injuries piling up, Schmidt abruptly announced his retirement early in the 1989 season, while this card was still path fresh across the land. That put the finishing touches on the greatest all-around career by a third baseman and set up his first campaign and partner their lofty hobby perch for decades to come. For fans of Schmitty, this is bittersweet. Last look at a baseball legend. Value $20 to $30. 1989 Fleer, Craig Biggio, rookie card, number 353. Young players can take a while to find their lot in Major League life, just as with Gary Sheffield. For Craig Biggio, that searching included a minor league career and a handful of big league seasons, oiling as a catcher, before moving to his forever home at second base for the Houston Astros. Amazingly, Biggio became an all-star behind the plate before moving to the other side of the pitcher. But we're all better for the wear and tear of that position switch saved on the eventual Hall of Fame. Biggio made an appearance in a couple of year-end sets in 1988, but this was his first base clear card. Value $25 to $30. 1989 clear Greg Maddox, number 431. After a couple of seasons of really ugly numbers in the majors, Maddox broke out for the Cubs in 1988, going 18-8 with a 3.18 ERA to garner his first All-Star selection. The future professor was just getting warmed up, of course, and those early returns were just a prelude to his mastery to come. The Cy Young Awards, the Gold Gloves, the victories, all of it back. And this card gives us an early look at an all-time great. Value 25 to 30. 1989 clear Barry Bonds, number 202. You can't have a discussion about any late 1980s baseball card set and not include Barry Bonds. The all-time home run leader is still the slender, base-stealing Barry many purists claim to prefer on this card. But let's not lie. And with 762 home runs, the all-time record, and scads of other ridiculous numbers, Bonds seems like a good bet to eventually overcome his current qualification enough to gain entrapment into Cooperstown, right? Right. Value 25 to $35. 1989 clear Cal Ripken Jr., number 617. Cal Ripken and the Orioles went through a tough year in 1988, among the toughest ever, in fact. But the Ironman was still a Cubby figure. Still, courtesy of 3,000 plus hits, the 1983 American League Rookie of the Year award, two American League MVP awards, and the streak heard around the world. This 1989 clear card wasn't Cal's greatest hunting card ever, but it still has fans. Value 25 to $35. 1989 clear Tony Gwynn, number 305. Gwynn slumped to a 313 batting average in 1988, but that was still good enough to win his third batting title in what turned out to be a scaled down year of the pitcher. Bats weren't quite as feeble as they had been in 1968, but they were pretty darn anemic compared to what we saw during scaled down year of the pitcher. Bats weren't quite as feeble as they had been in 1968, but they were pretty darn anemic compared to what we saw during the home run explosion in 1987. Mr. Padre would win another batting crown in 1989 at the age of 29, and then the well ran dry. And with 762 home runs, the all time record, and scads of other ridiculous numbers, Bond seems like a good bet to eventually overcome his tarnished reputation enough to gain entrapment in Cooperstown. Right? Right? Value 25 to $35. 1989 clear Cal Ripken Jr., number 617. Cal Ripken and the Orioles went through a tough year in 1988, among the toughest ever, in fact. But the Ironman was still a beloved comic figure. Still, courtesy of 3,000 plus hits, the 1983 American League Rookie of the Year award, two American League MVP awards, the streak heard around the world. This 1989 clear card wasn't Cal's greatest pencil cardboard ever, but it still has fans. Value 25 to $35. 1989 clear Tony Gwynn, number 305. Gwynn slumped to a 313 batting average in 1988, but that was still good enough to win his third batting title in what turned out to be a scaled down year of the pitcher. Bats weren't quite as feeble as they had been in 1968, but they were pretty darn anemic compared to what we saw during the home run explosion in 1987. Mr. Padre would win another batting crown in 1989 at the age of 29, and then the well ran dry. Until 1984, that is. Already a near lock for the Hall of Fame, Wynn ruled off four straight batting titles from 94 to 97 and cemented his status as one of the great hitters of all time. No surprise at all that his cards, including the Sunkist 1989 clear entry, still command a solid collector's interest decades later. Value $30 to $35. 1989 clear George Brett, number 277. These things are subjective, of course. But this isn't the greatest looking bird threat baseball card ever produced. Still, there's plenty of great 1980s royal flavor paper, and Brent's weathered face hints at a storied diamond battle that had built his legend. And the card back tells the story of a grizzled baseball lifer who had battled his way back to full-time guys in 1988 after 2 years of injury woes. Also crutching 300 for the first time since 1985. Mullen would face another tough year in 1989 before winning his third batting crown in 1990, forever cementing his grit, profound greed, and popularity. Value $35 to $40. 1989 clear Bo Jackson, number 285. When this card was young and fresh that is, Bo was a scene of, yeah, still a curiosity. Would he choose baseball or football? Or would he continue trying to do both? Would he ever fulfill even part of his past potential? That summer, Superman started to answer those questions, garnering his first American League All-Star selection and serving notice that he had the power and speed potential to stick 32 home runs, 105 RBI, and even got himself some MVP votes. The 1990 season saw such, and then came the devastating hip injury, suffered in January 1991. Of injury woes. Also pressing 300 for the first time since 1985. Mullins would face another tough year in 1989 before winning his third batting crown in 1990, forever cementing his grit, Cooperstown greed, and Tommy legend. Value $35 to $40. 1989 clear Bo Jackson, number 285. When this card was young and fresh, half fresh that is, Bo was a phenom, yet still a curiosity. Would he choose football or football? Or would he continue trying to do both? Would he ever fulfill even part of his vast potential? That summer, Superman started to answer those questions, garnering his first American League All-Star selection and serving notice that he has the power and speed potential to stick 32 home runs, 105 RBI, 26 stolen bases, and even got himself some MVP votes. The 1990 season saw less playing time, and then came the devastating hip injury, suffered in January 1991 during the NFL playoff game with the Los Angeles Raiders. Bo would never suit up for the Royals or the NFL again, though he did make it back to the Diamond, but he wasn't the same. Still in all, collectors know Bo, and they love Bo. After all these years, his cards were some of the most active during the pandemic boom, and they still haven't lost most of that sheen, and we're still shifting to our new normal. Value $35 to $45. 1989's Lear, Nolan Ryan, number 368. In 1989, Nolan Ryan joined the Texas Rangers to begin the final push of his legendary career. It was a massive fight more spread fight, more wins, and the daddy wappy of Robin Ventura when the young Chicago White Sox charged them out. If Ryan cards